Hello, everyone. Guess what season we're in? It's tax season. So I want to ask you, do you have the tax blues? Signs of the tax blues. You have a lot of stress at night thinking about your tax receipts that are building up in the corner of your room, hopefully not near your bed. That's never a good way to go to sleep. But here's how you can alleviate tax blues. You can plan. And what we like to do here at Jackie Porter and the Jackie Porter team is we really want to encourage our clients to plan. And what does planning look like? Planning means knowing your numbers, feeling like you're in control of your finances, and organizing strategies to make sure that you intend and plan to pay less. So that's what we wanted to focus this monthly tip on, is tax planning. So I'm going to bring out different members of my team to talk about some of the pain, the tax pain they see people experience, and what are concrete and relevant things we can do to get you organized around taxes. So one by one, we're going to bring our team members out. What we'd really like to see is you feel tax anticipation rather than tax pain. What does tax anticipation look like? It's recognizing ahead of time that you're going to have a refund because you've actually organized your affairs to get one. So let's see how we can get you there. I'm going to start off by bringing out Sharon, our very first opportunity for you to get to know the Jackie Porter team. She's your first point of contact. We call her our office mom, and she's our team client experience leader. So let me bring out Sharon now, and we can talk a little bit about what she sees when she talks to a client who's thinking of entering the practice, some of the pains and challenges that they go through. So Sharon, will you join us? So Sharon.
Hey, hi.
I love it that clients always have such positive feedback when they talk to you about telling you their problems.
They do.
They tell me they really enjoy talking to you and telling you their problems. And so I know one of their biggest pain points is taxes. Mm-hmm. And I just was curious to find out what clients tell you when they talk about their finances, particularly their taxes. What are you seeing?
Well, I'm finding that there's a lot of overwhelming sighs going on. People thinking about, all those receipts are sitting in the desk, under the desk, behind the bed. What's coming and how they get organized for this year. So there is a bit of stress going on. There's also stress with people who have a few years of taxes to do.
No, tell me this. What do you find when you're having conversations with people who say they're behind 3-4 years? What are some of the things that are coming up with them that you see?
I think what's coming up is the fear of not getting it done, the fear of interest building and not knowing what's going to come and how much they have to pay, and that stresses their budget.
Do you find that people who you're seeing who don't do their taxes, some of the things that I had said earlier, often aren't on top of their finances as well? Mm-hmm. So is it like a symptom of a bigger problem?
Probably, and small business owners, entrepreneurs, that seems to be a common occurrence. That seems to be the conversation that's driving us a lot.
So now, what are you finding? Like, what I've come to find is when clients don't get their taxes done and they're, like, as you identified, 4 or 5 years behind, that's symptomatic of a bigger problem, which is the disease of just not being on top of their finances.
The whole big picture, exactly. So it's not just the taxes, it's the facts, a piece of it, but it also means that they're overlooking other things that, they're working in the business, but they're not working on the business. So They just need to get a handle on it all, and they're coming to us and saying, okay, let's just sit down and look at the big picture.
So are you identifying is control, not feeling in control of their circumstances? Because I can imagine if they don't know how much they should be paying in taxes, then they really don't know how much they're spending.
Correct.
They don't know how much debt they're in, because there's also such a thing as tax debt.
That's right.
So they're really kind of stuck, aren't they?
They're stuck. They're overwhelmed. They're
because they can't
distracted. They're distracted, and so we're being able to sit down with them and saying, okay, let's take a look at their budget. Let's take a look at the picture, where they are with that, where they see themselves going, and how we can get there.
Right, and we also make sure we pass them on. If they are behind on their income taxes, we also want to make sure we pass them on to one of our trusted tax preparers to make sure they get that done, so we can start helping them plan for their future.
We do a lot of referrals.
Because taxes are a big piece of the plan, is to know what they actually are going to have to pay in taxes, so we can start, putting in some of the things they want to do, like some of the fun things they might want to do, save for, a big goal in the future, save for retirement. It's really hard to tackle all the things you do, Sharon, without knowing, really helping them to
and I
understand
think,
what their actual numbers look
there's
like.
a lot of people there, if their taxes aren't complete, they can't go off getting loans, things like that. Those are impacting on what they want to do as well. So
that's a very good point. So they can't even get loans for their business if they're trying to expand if the taxes aren't done.
Exactly.
Or even just to plan. Like, the great thing about planning for taxes as a business owner is if you are actually going to apply for a loan and you know what your previous year's taxes look like, you might need to show more income.
Right.
And if you actually know what your taxes normally look like, then you can plan to pay more taxes so you can get that loan you need to expand.
Yep, exactly.
So thank you, Sharon. This is really good
my
tips
pleasure.
for our group, our community. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to bring out another really key member of our team, and her name is my namesake, Nancy Porter. Nancy, I think you're copying me, even with the same name. So in case you guys, when she comes into the video, you can't tell us apart, Nancy's wearing the blue shirt, okay? Just so you know. So Nancy is known quite fondly in our practice as the client advocate. And I know it's a title she proudly wears. And she's going to talk about some of the things she encounters dealing with some of our clients, and also ways that you can work with an accountant. So I'm looking forward to bringing her out. So Nancy, I know you do a lot of work with clients in the practice, and I just wondered, what are some of the things that you find as you've been here working with clients? What are some of the things that you've heard when it comes to dealing with people and their taxes this time of the year? Because, we're in the throes of tax time now.
Sure. I find that clients over the years have told me, they did their taxes on their own for many years, and then they took our advice and started using an accountant and said that they should have done that many years ago. So there is a lot of value having an accountant.
And why would you say that? Why shouldn't people just get the software that says, quick tax, I can do it myself, I just fill in the boxes, and Bob's your uncle, I get my potentially tax refund?
Well, certainly one of the biggest advantages is CRA is getting tougher and tougher now with everybody. And an accountant can be an advocate for you with CRA, which makes your life much easier.
That's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where clients have, they were hesitant to hire an accountant because of the fees, and invariably they come back and say, the accountant saved me more money over and above the fee that I had to pay.
That's what I was going to say. That's the real marker, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, if
I'm
paying $75, I think that's a H&R Block kind of fee, and I have an accountant that was able to identify, $500 more savings for me than I found the previous year.
Sure.
There's value there, isn't
There
there?
certainly is, yeah. I highly recommend using an advisor for your taxes.
And speaking of using an advisor, I would highly encourage people in our community to work with an advisor who works with your accountant. Because what I've found working with clients is that when you use an accountant who isn't familiar with what your advisor is doing, sometimes strategies that your advisor may have recommended, the accountant doesn't know about it, and then it doesn't get implemented, and you don't get the savings.
Yeah, that's a good point,
That
Jackie.
were actually promised to you by the advisor you're dealing with. So in our practice, we work with select, as I had mentioned with Sharon, we have a very short list of accountants we recommend, and we work with all of our...
great feedback,
Yes,
by the way.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we actually make sure that we work very closely with our clients' accountants, just because we don't want you to lose a penny of what you're owed in a tax refund. So I'm really glad you brought up this important issue. It's worth the money. A good accountant is worth the money.
Yeah.
And a good advisor who works with your accountant is a real important resource for you making your money work harder and
Very
you not
true.
working harder.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
So thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome,
That was
Jackie.
great advice.
Thank you.
Thanks. The team thanks you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then last but not least, our busy bee of the team, our Nydia Hawes. She's going to come out and talk about what she's finding with clients who are in our practice now, what they're looking for in terms of receipts from us, getting organized for taxes. She's going to talk about some of the things she sees on the administrative side. So we're looking forward to bringing her out and hearing from her. So Nydia, you do a lot of admin work here with the Jackie Porter team and the Jackie Porter practice. You are hearing from clients this time of the year for very different reasons than the rest of us.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So what I'm hearing is from clients who have lost their tax receipts.
Right.
And they call me because they need me to replace their tax receipts. And so I obtain them from the companies and I scan and email them to them. And,
Yes.
And which is awesome because they can use those emailed receipts in order to get their taxes done.
No, that's perfect because I don't think people realize a scanned copy of your RSP receipt is just as good as a mailed one. So if you need that scanned receipt to do your taxes, sometimes the fund companies or the investment companies delay sending things and you're filing your taxes. You're keener, the kind of clients we love. We love to see you want to file your taxes early to get that refund as quickly as possible. Reach out to us and we'll get you the receipt so you have it well before the deadline to file your income taxes. Now, there are also other kinds of receipts that you provide clients with or that the fund company provides. If you hold a non-registered account, non-registered accounts generate income or they generate dividend income or they generate capital gains. You're going to get tax receipts specifically for tax reporting that you have to show on your income tax. So please be aware if you have non-registered accounts. One of the wonderful things our clients tell us that they love is their non-registered tax receipt slips are very small because that means they get the opportunity to show as little income as possible so that they pay as little tax as possible on their non-registered accounts. So if you're someone who currently has an investment outside of our team and you want to look at ways you can reduce your tax burden on that, feel free to reach out to us because we have lots of strategies to make sure that tax bill is as little as possible. So thank you, Nydia. We really are so thankful that you survived RSP season. Nydia almost jumped off a ledge.
That's right.
But we saved her. We called her just in time to finish the tax deadline. So anyway, Busy Bee, we're really glad to have you here and thank you for the monthly tax tip.
Thank you, Jackie.
So in working with especially self-employed freelancers, even business owners over the last 20 years, I find that taxes are still a big sore spot for them. It's something they want to avoid, and often when they avoid dealing with their taxes, they're likely not dealing with their finances either. So I want to encourage you to make 2019 better, make 2019 different, and the only way you can do that is to intentionally decide that you're going to get on top of your taxes, get on top of your finances, and set the intention of making your taxes a priority. So one of the ways we can help, we invite you to check out our financial resilience questionnaire and look at how we can help you to build your finances, build your financial fortress, know your numbers, because we believe that's the best way to become more in charge and in control of your income taxes. Often I find when I deal with clients, when they don't know their taxes, they don't know how much they're spending, they don't know how much they should be paying in taxes, so they're not setting aside enough for taxes, they don't know how much debt they're in. The taxes are the heart of your financial plan, and we want to make sure we help you to organize your affairs so that you plan to pay less taxes. So please feel free to check us out. Let us know what you think of the video. We welcome your comments, suggestions, potential content for our future monthly tips. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of the day.